We're expecting a 1 to 3 cent real estate tax rate increase. From what my conversations have indicated, it's likely going to be in that 1 to 2 cent range. City Council not going to do the 10 cents they advertised. So we'll talk about that on the show. We'll highlight Belmont real estate. What's up, Scott Aaronworth in Virginia Beach? We love you, Scott. We'll highlight downtown Belmont in particular from an opportunity and real estate standpoint. We will highlight the Fitzgerald Tire listing at $1,200,000 that now that we've posted it all over the I Love Cville network it's gone viral. So that topic on today's program. We will highlight Skooma Boutique Dispensary, our client, opening a second location on Ellwood Avenue. They'll have a downtown location and an Ellwood location and more locations to come for what is a booming business. Peyton Manning and Eli Manning's nephew visited Charlottesville and the University of Virginia football program. That topic on today's show. Notre Dame's Sam Brunell is transferring to UVA for women's basketball. We predicted that a couple weeks ago. She grew up in Greene County, is a talented player, and is now coming to play basketball in Charlottesville. Jaden Gardner is returning. So real estate, business transactions, the University of Virginia, and some local government. Literally all my favorite topics. I mean, literally all my favorite topics. We'll throw in a little food in the mix as well, as we enjoyed many a meal out this weekend, the family and I. Judah Wickhauer is our director. We can rock and roll. Judah, when you're ready. Good Monday afternoon. I'm Jerry Miller, and welcome to the I Love Cville show. Thank you kindly for joining us. Happy to be with you on a Monday. Again, Jerry Miller and Judah Wickhauer, our director, live from our headquarters in downtown Charlottesville and our building, the Macklin building on Market Street. So much to cover on today's show. It is jammed packed with information. Today's program will run till about 1:25 today. We'll cut about 5 minutes early as I do an interview today at 1:30 with Virginia Public Radio, talking real estate in Charlottesville and a designated outdoor refreshment area with Virginia Public Radio at about 1:30 today. A lot I'm going to cover on today's program, including City Council voting on a budget tomorrow, the Fitzgerald Tire building in downtown Belmont with an asking price of $1,200,000. The Belmont Market, already under contract, will take a close eye on the downtown Belmont corridor and its vast potential as the heartbeat of one of the most popular, hottest and Tony neighborhoods in the city, Belmont. That topic on today's show. Client, Skooma Boutique Dispensary, David and his wife Kirsty opening a second location on Ellwood Avenue, their business booming. That topic on today's show. We will discuss inflation, the CPI number, Consumer Price Index, out tomorrow. The expectation is inflation is going to jump 0.5 point, 7.9 the last CPI number. The expectation or the prediction is it's going to be in the 8.4, 8.5 range, when the highest levels of inflation that this country has ever seen. I'll say this, inflation will be the topic of conversation during midterm elections this year. This past election that saw the General Assembly very much change its makeup and saw the governor's office in the Commonwealth go Republican, this past election, the topic of conversation was COVID and the empowerment of parents when it comes to their son or daughter's education in public schools. Youngkin ran a strategic campaign, and he identified with suburban moms and suburban voters when he said, I want to re-empower parents when it comes to their autonomy with their son or daughter's public school education. Terry McAuliffe, not once, not twice, not 3 times, put his proverbial foot in his mouth when he said parents should have no say of their child's educational public school trajectory. That cost McAuliffe the election. This past year, midterms were about getting out of COVID and empowering parents from a public school educational autonomy standpoint. This midterm election, which we are now less than 7 months away from, I mean, it's really around the corner. 6 months and change from midterms. This year's election is going to be all about inflation, keeping inflation in check. How do we put more dollars in the pockets of voters? The dollar is stretched further than it's ever been stretched in American history. You're getting hit, and you're getting hit hard at the grocery store, at the gas pump. You're getting hit, and you're getting hit hard from a taxes standpoint when you go out to restaurants. My family and I, my in-laws are in town, my wonderful mother-in-law and my wonderful father-in-law. They joined my wife and our 4-year-old son and me on two dates. One Saturday afternoon to watch the Masters at Three Notch Brewing Company. Another on Sunday afternoon to watch the final round of the Masters at Piedmont Kitchen in Pantops, the old Shadwell's restaurant. The bill on Saturday for 4.5 people, I'll call our son who's 4 a half, was $168. The bill on Sunday for 4.5 people, my wife, myself, my mother-in-law, my father-in-law, our son, was $175. My wife had no alcoholic beverages either day. I had 2 beers. My father-in-law had 2 margaritas. My mother-in-law had 2 Chardonnays each day. My son got a milk. My wife got a soda. We had 1 appetizer and an entree apiece. And the bill on Saturday at Three Notch was $175. The bill on Sunday at Piedmont Kitchen, the old Chadwell's, was $175. There was a point where when you were spending $160, $170 plus dollars for 4 people, you were having white tablecloth type cuisine. That is no more. That is no more. Today, entrees run, I guess you would call it an entree. I mean, we had sandwiches at Three Notch. We had the personal pizzas at Piedmont. I mean, you're looking at $15, $20 an entree, $12, $15 an appetizer, and beers, $7, $7.50, $8 for a beer, $10 for a cocktail. Taxes, meals tax, 10% of the bill. We tip 20%. You can legitimately count on it being $40 to $45 a head, and it's not even the luxury dining situation anymore. It's not the white tablecloth. It's not the white cloth napkin anymore. This is a brewery and a restaurant that rebranded itself as approachable. We'll relay those experiences to you on the I Love CVille show. Another reason when City Council talks about raising the meals tax 0.5%, please realize that any meals tax increase is the gentrification of dining in our community. You've heard of gentrification associated with real estate. Better believe that there's gentrification associated with dining. How many people in the community can afford $40, $50 a head tickets? Not many. I went on Saturday morning. It was Saturday and Sunday mornings are daddy's son days. Give my wonderful wife, the rock of our family, a break. My son and I spend most of Saturday and most of Sunday together. One of the treats that our son gets on Saturdays as we head to our place of fun is Chick-fil-A. We got one meal, a 4-biscuit meal on Saturday morning, 4-biscuit meal with the hash browns that are in the shape of quarters, and I upgraded it from a milk to a kid's milkshake. Yes, a little milkshake action on a Saturday morning. Yes, Dad's spoiling the Bambino. Yes, Dad enjoys spoiling the Bambino. He deserves it. Basically $11 for Chick-fil-A. A 4-biscuit meal, not the 4-biscuit meal, the chicken minis. Pack of 4 from Chick-fil-A. Hash browns, about the size of a quarter each hash brown, and a kid's milkshake. $11. Raising the meals tax does not just impact the wealthy who go out to 5-star restaurants. Raising the meals tax impacts all of us who patronize spots like Chick-fil-A and McDonald's. Folks that get prepared meals to go from Costco. It's the gentrification of eating out. And when you start creating a barrier of entry to eat out, you start impacting families and children from a socialization standpoint. One of the aspects of maturation and becoming a man or a woman, becoming a teenager from a young adult, becoming a young adult from a toddler, and becoming a baby into a toddler is learning to socialize and to act in scenarios outside the house. How many moms and dads watching this program? So many, right? How many of our kids, sons and daughters, act one way in the comfort of their home and act a very different way outside their house? How many folks watching this program utilize places like Chick-fil-A, utilize places like Riverside Burger, utilize places like Kilwins, Splendoras, Iron Poffles and Coffee to help start socializing their kids? Make it hard and expensive to eat at even the low price points, the entry price points, and that's going to impact maturation of kids as they get less time in booths and in seats at restaurants in our community. We'll talk about that on today's show. Fitzgerald Tire in Belmont is for sale right now. The asking price is $1.2 million. Go to iloveseville.com right now. iloveseville.com right now for the Fitzgerald Tire nitty gritty. $1.2 million for a building in Belmont that is 1,078 square feet. The price per square foot is the price per square foot is $1,113 a square. I'll repeat that number to you again. Katie Pearl, we'll get to your comments here. Fitzgerald Tire And I think the price is on point. Kara Bass of Keller Williams Alliance has the listing. Kara Bass is got some killer listings of late. She was the agent behind Belmont Market. Fitzgerald Tire, $1,200,000 asking price. The building is 1,078 square feet. That's a price per square foot of $1,113. The building was built in 1945. There are 5 parking spaces on site. Fitzgerald Tire is zoned Neighborhood Commercial Corridor, NCC. iloveseville.com right now to see some fantastic photography of Fitzgerald Tire. This is one of the most iconic buildings in one of the most tony and hot neighborhoods of the city in Belmont. When you head into the Belmont corridor, the downtown Belmont corridor, this is the building you see. In a 30-day period of time, 2 of the most iconic buildings in downtown Belmont, Belmont Market on one side of downtown, across from Mas Tapas, and Fitzgerald Tire on the other side of downtown Belmont. Each of them has gone on the market for sale. It is no secret that it's a seller's market right now. And sellers, as they should be, are being opportunistic. And Belmont Market, now under contract. Do I expect Fitzgerald Tire to stay active for long? No, I do not. No, I do not. We'll talk about these 2 listings today on the I Love Seville show. We will also highlight Skooma Boutique Dispensary opening a second location on Elliewood Avenue. David and his family clearly have the gift of vision and an affinity for risk, and it's paying off for them. Skooma Boutique Dispensary is positioning itself as the market leader in the dispensary business. And wait and see what happens when cannabis is legal from a retail standpoint. It's not yet. It will be sooner than later. These dispensary businesses will essentially be private ABC stores. The place to get CBD, Delta 8, cannabis, and the education that comes with it. David, my friend, you are an entrepreneur in every sense of the word. The strategic risk you are taking now will pay Apple-like dividends down the road. And the man has said on this network, the owner of Skooma, that he has sold investment property to put even more skin in the game into this business model. And to open a second location on Elliewood Avenue off the University of Virginia corridor is genius. Because he's going to capture the downtown market with this store next to Rapture. He's going to capture the student market with this store which will open on 4/20. Smart opening date. What'd you say, Judah? For a dispensary? 4/20. A second location on Elliewood. And don't be surprised when you start seeing 3rd and 4th locations pop up for this fantastic brand. A Skooma Boutique Dispensary would make perfect and beautiful sense in the Forest Lakes and Hollymead Town Center 29 North Corridor. A Skooma Boutique Dispensary would make perfect sense in the Pantops Corridor. A Skooma Boutique Dispensary would make perfect sense in the Crozet Market, in the Scottsville Market. There is no question in my mind that Central Virginia can accommodate 5 to 6 Skooma Boutique dispensaries easily. And David, I salute you for having the cojones, the affinity for risk, and the vision to get ahead of this. Inflation, I touched on this earlier, no question in my mind. There is zero question in my mind. You will start seeing the headlines as we get closer to November. Midterm elections on the near horizon, less than 7 months away. I have never seen, all right, let me hedge a little bit. You have rarely seen, over the last 3 decades, the Democratic Party as vulnerable as it is today. President Joe Biden's approval numbers are at the lowest they've been since he's been elected into office. People ask, Jerry, which party do you most align with? I align with the party of common sense. Not the party of Democrat, not the party of Republican. I align with the party of common sense. And the common sense in me says the pain we feel at the grocery store, at the gas pump, at the restaurant, at the retailer, the pain we feel come personal property tax time, the pain we feel come real estate tax bill time, the pain we feel when you open your account and realize the disposable income is not there like it was a couple of years ago, that undoubtedly will be the topic of midterms in 2022. And the Democratic Party, and it starts atop with the president. Fair or not, it starts atop with the president. The Democratic Party is as vulnerable as I've seen it in a couple of decades. And you got some big time elections coming up this November. And the topic du jour will be inflation and a CPI number that's coming out tomorrow, the Consumer Price Index coming out tomorrow, that I'm going to bet you is going to be 8.4% or more. It is going to be a nasty, nasty, nasty number. The Consumer Price Index for March will reflect the surge in energy prices tied to the war in Ukraine. The last CPI that came out was 7.9%. That was through February. The Ukrainian-Russian war wasn't even going to the tilt it is now. An 8.4% CPI or higher would be the highest overall inflation rate since December of 1981. I will say that number again. The Consumer Price Index. The expectation is 8.4% or higher. It comes out tomorrow. An 8.4% CPI or higher would be the highest CPI level since December of 1981. That is 41 years ago. Our economy is as vulnerable as I have seen it since 2008, 2009, 2010. And the very legitimate fear we have is if the Federal Reserve continues to do these rate hikes, and the rate hikes don't get inflation in check, then you're left with a recession and an inflationary period of time. And that should scare the hell out of all of us. Katie Pearl is watching the program. Big fan of Katie Pearl. I'm going to tell her that right now. Katie Pearl. We are big fans of you, period. I will mention this comment on air, period. Enter, send. I totally agree with you, Jerry. Restaurants and eating out are a part of kids' socialization. You hear council say, we'll just raise the meals tax 0.5%. The meals tax is a tax on the wealthy. The meals tax is a way to prevent gentrification associated with real estate from happening. Let's touch the meals tax to keep gentrification from going down. Bull doo-doo. You raise the meals tax. Yes, it has an impact at Marigold. Yes, it has an impact at the Clifton. Yes, it has an impact at the Ivy Inn. Yes, it has an impact at Hamilton's and the Aberdeen Barn. But do you know where else it has an impact? Jack and Jill's, Riverside, Fabio's, Tubby's, Lilo's Pizza, Chick-fil-A, Wayside, Fried Chicken, Dirty Nelly's, Anna's Pizza, the Biltmore, Brown's Fried Chicken. And when you raise the barrier of entry for folks already on the financial margin, and you make it even more expensive for moms and dads to take their sons and daughters out to eat, then the moms and dads on the financial margin don't take their kids out to eat. Instead, they keep them at home. And what ends up happening is the upper class and the wealthy are able to use restaurants to help expedite maturation and socialization for their children. Whereas those on the financial margin don't have the same vehicles of maturation and socialization for their kids. And that's the gentrification of dining and the collateral damage that comes with it. That's why increasing taxes on existing sources of jurisdictional revenue are always regressive. And that's why it's paramount for jurisdictional leaders to find new sources of taxes to keep the jurisdiction afloat. Now, a lot of folks are very surprised about the $1.2 million asking price of Fitzgerald Tire in Belmont. Leah Michelle says that's going to go quick. You are 100% right. Enter. I send that to Leah Michelle. Patty Zeller, Animal Connection. Oh my God, I've wanted this building my entire life. It's a gorgeous building. So much potential. Period. Enter. Bill McKenzie, the building or the business? The actual building is for sale for $1.2 million. Elena Mangione, cool building, but is it $1,100 per square foot cool? Yikes. $1,113 price per square foot. The Fitzgerald Tire building. Jamie Dyer, The site is 0.06 acres. It works out to 20 million an acre, give or take. Fantastic comment. Fantastic comment. I relayed this live on air. The Fitzgerald Tire Building is as iconic of any building you will find in the city of Charlottesville. Not only is its location in downtown Belmont make it fresh and tony and cool and iconic, but on the side of the building, it has the "I love Charlottesville a lot" signage on it. Can you find that "I love Charlottesville a lot" signage on it, Judah? Perhaps the link I sent you has it on the side that you can pull and put on screen, sir. I sent that to you this morning. I know I'm asking you, this on the fly, and I'm grateful. Thank you. I think this building is going to go quickly. I think it's going to go quickly. It is one of the, what's it called in a bookcase? A bookcase of books. On each side of the book you have what's it called? Thank you. Thank you, Judah. It's one of the bookends of downtown Belmont. What are the bookends of downtown Belmont, J-Dubs? You'd probably have the two bookends of downtown Belmont, I would say, are what? Mas Tapas and Fitzgerald Tire? Right? Would you guys not agree? The two bookends of downtown Belmont are Mas Tapas and Fitzgerald Tire. Am I wrong there? Across from Mas Tapas, Belmont Market went under contract in a hop, skip, and a jump. Now this, it's no surprise, the owners of Fitzgerald, this is what's happening, okay? You want to hear what's happening? The city of Charlottesville is raising taxes on everything at a time when inflation is pinching disposable income, at a time when supply chains are pinching disposable income, at a time when assessments on real estate are higher than they've ever been. It's a freaking collision of so many different things at once. Taxes going up, inflation higher than it's ever been since 1981. I just explained that to you. Gas prices higher, grocery prices higher, utilities higher. Personal property taxes higher, assessments higher. All these things are colliding at the same time, and it's literally creating gentrificational momentum behind OG Charlottesville, Old Guard Charlottesville, OG Seville is good God. Things are tight right now. And OG Seville. I mean, did you know this Fitzgerald Tire Building has been owner-occupied since the beginning? OG Seville, look at the screen. You got it on screen? Is it still on screen now? Look at the screen. Everyone look at the screen. Look at the screen and look at the screen now. What's more iconic than that in Charlottesville? Can you think of, go to a two-shot. Get a two-shot ready to go and get that mic ready to go. I'm going to ask you, what are the most iconic buildings and structures in Charlottesville right now?
All right.
Kevin Yancey, $1.2 million to buy, at least $1 million to remodel or upfit. He's right. At least $1 million. Kevin Yancey, you are right. I relayed this live on air. Most iconic buildings in Charlottesville. What do you got?
The rotunda?
Yeah. Let's create a list. I'll create a list right now. You guys put it in the feed. Viewers and listeners, put it in the feed. We'll take the answers, we'll crowdsource them, and we'll turn it into a listing that I'll put on iloveseville.com, and we'll talk about them tomorrow. The most iconic buildings in the city of Charlottesville. City of Charlottesville is key. In the city of Charlottesville. I'll give you rotundas number one. Good call. We'll call it number one, the UVA. I mean, you don't even have to put UVA rotunda on there. Everyone knows it's what the rotunda is. Good call. You just named number one. The UVA rotunda is number one. Put it in the feed. What are the most iconic buildings? Kevin Yancey, Scott Aaronworth, Katie Pearl, Patty Zeller, Leah Michelle, Jamie Dyer, Elena Mangione. Katie Pearl put the Paramount Theater. I think the Paramount Theater is definitely going to be in the top 5. I'm going to put the Paramount Theater here at the bottom. We'll see where it ranks. I think the Paramount Theater is going to be in the top 5. Katie Pearl, bravo. That props is for you, KP. Good stuff from you, KP. What do you got? Those iconic buildings in the city of Charlottesville.
Not technically a building, but I'd say the pavilion.
I'll put the pavilion. That counts. I'm going to put that in the bottom. I'll put the pavilion in the bottom. Most iconic buildings in the city of Charlottesville. What on the UVA corner? Let's do this strategically by district. Okay? Is Barracks Road considered a building? Do we call Barracks Road 1 and just say Barracks Road? All right, well, for the sake of we'll say Barracks Road is 1. Stonefield is in Albemarle County. Okay, so far it's a clear-cut rotunda number 1. The President's Sculpture at City Hall. That's not a bad one. Queen of Jack Jewett, Carol Thorpe. Queen of Jack Jewett, Carol Thorpe. The President Sculpture at City Hall. Do we call City Halls iconic? Let's do this strategically. Let's go from the most northern point of City of Charlottesville. The most northern point of City of Charlottesville would be Barracks Road, right? That Barracks Road area up until the Albemarle County line, which is over there by the Kmart building. I can't think of anything from the Cock Block, Fried Chicken Alley, Fried Chicken Alley, aka the Cock Block, to Barracks Road. All include Barracks Road there. So north of town, Barracks Road. Then you start getting to the UVA area. I mean, John Paul Jones Arena and Scott Stadium have to be on there, right? I mean, they're arenas. They get 60,000 people, 50,000 people for Scott Stadium. John Paul Jones Arena is what, 17,000? Monticello, Kevin Yancey says Monticello. Is Monticello City of Charlottesville? I don't think Monticello City of Charlottesville. Okay, don't get me wrong, Kevin Yancey, King of Waynesboro. Monticello is iconic, but that's Albemarle County. Monticello is Albemarle County. I'd be willing to put some ducats on that Monticello is Albemarle County. You looking that up? Am I right on that? Monticello is Albemarle County, everyone? What do you got, King of Orbit? Monticello Hotel, Queen of G, Georgia Gilmer. That is a good one. The Monticello Hotel is across from Court Square, where Mickey, our law firm used to be, Mickey Hamlet. The Monticello Hotel is now apartments and home to Court Square. The Monticello Hotel is on that list. God, Queen of G, you make us better all the time, dude. You are legit, Queen of G, Georgia Gilmer. Monticello Hotel is on there. No doubt about that. So we have a list. I'm saying a clear-cut number 1. Wayside Chicken is iconic. The Wayside Chicken, Scott Aaronworth in Virginia Beach. That is, I think that chicken is damn good. I'm not sure the Wayside Fried Chicken is in the most. I do love the chicken, my guy. You know I love you, homie. You know I love you, homie. And he makes a point. Isn't the corner iconic? And to his point, if we call Barracks Road Shopping Center 1, then you have to say UVA Corner is also included, and then you would call the downtown mall. Maybe that's a reason why not to say Barracks Road, although Barracks Road is one structure where the corner is an aggregation of separate structures. Can we legitimately say the most iconic buildings in the city of Charlottesville that Barracks Road counts on the list because it's one connected structure?
Not all of it, though. And the same with the corner. There
So
are a lot
you're
of-
saying based on that, it should be off?
I mean, the corner's a lot of connected buildings as well.
All right, I'm convinced. Barracks Road is out because it's an aggregation of structures and it's a shopping district, Barracks Road Shopping Center. And if we said yes to Barracks Road Shopping Center, we would have to say UVA Corner,
And probably a lot of other places, too.
the downtown mall,
Yeah.
right? And we're not going to go that broad. So I'm taking Barracks Road out based on that thing. So Rotunda number 1, Paramount Theater, Katie Pearl, Pavilion, Judah Wickhauer, John Paul Jones, Scott Stadium, Queen of G, Georgia Gilmer, the Monticello Hotel. Don't we say Fitzgerald Tire is on that list?
Sure.
I mean, Fitzgerald Tire, and the only one that's ranked in order is the Rotunda number 1. What do I got? Put it in the feed. Put it in the feed. What are we missing?
I mean, I hate to
Coca-Cola Building, Georgia Gilmer on Preston. Is Dairy Market too new and novel to be iconic? We could say Dairy Market is the dairy building,
Yeah.
and the dairy building has been around for generations. I think the dairy building has to be on there, right? Am I right on that? Don't you think?
Sure.
Monticello Dairy? The Monticello Dairy building?
Yeah.
Now the Dairy Market? Scott Aaronworth, that was so good. Isn't the I Love Seville building an iconic location? God, I love you, Scott Aaronworth. I love you, Scott. Jamie Turner, mayor of Gordonsville, says Dairy Market. JT, repping the pep. Jamie Turner, what a Woodbury Forest finest. Great call. The Coca-Cola plant on Preston. The Coca-Cola building on Preston. Georgia Gilmer echoing the Coca-Cola building. I think we got to add the Coca-Cola building on Preston. The Coca-Cola building. Woolen Mills. That's where Willow Tree is at. Dude, iconic building. The Ix building. Used to be Frank Ix. Belmont, in a lot of ways, was the home to the people that worked at the Ix building, a textile company. I'd say the Ix building, where Three Notch Brewing Company is now, is undoubtedly iconic. You good with that?
Yeah. Sure.
The Frank Ix building. All right, here's some. We'll put this list together with some thought. You guys are so good. I love you guys so much. I love when you guys contribute to the program so much. Rotunda 1. And then we have a number that fall under that. The Paramount Theater, the Pavilion, the John Paul Jones Arena, Scott Stadium, the Monticello Hotel, Fitzgerald Tire, the Monticello Dairy Building, the Coca-Cola Building, the Frank Ix Building, all those on the list. What else you got?
I mean, I hate to say it, but the Landmark building should be on there.
The Landmark?
It's pretty iconic by now, isn't it?
Dewberry? Oh, iconic or infamous. I guess in a lot of ways they're one and the same. The Extorting Emperor of Empty Lots, his building should be on there. All right, I'll put the Dewberry on there. Dewberry Hotel. Do we put Kim's Market on there? Cherry Avenue? The old IGA? No?
I mean, at some point, we're just going to start putting everything on there because a lot of the buildings around here have been around for long enough that if you live here, you think, oh, yeah, there's that, everything is iconic.
Do we put the train station on there? That's a good point, Judah. Do we put the train station on there?
I wouldn't. I mean, I don't even know what it looks like.
You know what the train station is by Wild Wing Cafe?
Is it brick?
Federal Executive Building. Jamie Turner. Kevin Yancey called it the Federal Executive Building. Jamie Turner, the mayor of Gordonsville. I don't know what it's called, but it's near Barracks Road. Looks like a government building. It's super secure. Kevin Yancey answers JT question, the Federal Executive Building. Kevin Yancey, King of Wadesboro, answering the mayor of Gordonsville's question. I believe Kevin Yancey is 100% correct. It's called the Federal Executive Building. Kevin Yancey, you know your freaking history and the nitty-gritty of this area, dude. King of Waynesboro, Kevin Yancey, you know what's up. The King Lumber Company building where the brewery is. That brewery is Random Row. That's from Georgia Gilmer, the Queen of G. The King Lumber building. I'll put that on that list. We're crowdsourcing a list, the most iconic buildings in the city of Charlottesville. I'll put Kim's Market on there. And I understand to Judah's point, eventually we're going to put them all on there.
I mean, Kim's Market is what, like a white squat building?
Yeah, it's the old IGA.
Okay.
Iconic doesn't necessarily have to mean architecturally stunning.
I know.
Iconic could mean, like, the Dewberry isn't architecturally stunning in its current format. Iconic means, like, part of, like, and help me if you agree or disagree. Are we two-shotting here
Yep.
with this one?
I think so, yeah.
Iconic I would mean is part of like the everyday lingo, like people know it as soon as you say it type deal.
Yeah, but who knows Kim's Market?
You don't think people know Kim's? We know Kim's. Granted, we talk about it all the time. People knew it as the IGA, right? You disagree? I mean, I'm not trying to be combative. I'm just,
some people might, but it's not like Cherry Avenue is a I don't know, a heavily traveled, if you're driving down Cherry, do you really pick out that building or you just ignore it?
Jamie Turner says, and this is what I think Jamie Turner's description of iconic I agree with. He says, iconic to me means, quote, when I think of Charlottesville, I think of these buildings. End quote. That's the mayor of Gordonsville, Jamie Turner, repping the pep and Culpeper, one of Woodbury Forest's finest alum. I agree with that.
It's fair enough, but I think at some point, again, you're going to
Kevin Yancey agrees with you. He says the old IGA was a mainstay, but it's not iconic.
Yeah.
Okay,
and we're going to end up
Carol
with a lot
Thorpe,
of
Queen of
those.
Jack Jewett, says, I agree with Judah. All right, we're taking Kim's Market off. Kevin Yancey and Queen of Jack Jewett, Carol Thorpe say no to Kim's Market. Judah says no to Kim's Market. Kim's Market is out. That's all I need to hear. Kim's Market is out. There's got to be an iconic building on the UVA corner. Is the most iconic building on the UVA corner the old Mincer's? I mean, it's currently Mincer's. But Mincer's was a lot of things before it is a sporting goods store. Kevin Yancey says Virginian. The Virginian was my second comment I was going to make on the UVA corner. The oldest restaurant in the city of Charlottesville is the Virginian Restaurant. It was established in 1923, the Virginian. Good Lord, the Virginian is 99 years old. Andy McClure, the first restaurant he ever purchased, now the owner of Citizen Burger Bar, one of the most impactful clients in the history of VMV Brands and I Love Seville. His restaurant, the Virginian, the first restaurant in his portfolio, is nearly 100 years old, Judah.
It's pretty crazy.
Do we include the Virginian as the most iconic UVA corner building, or is it Mincer's? Viewers and listeners, what are your thoughts? What is the most iconic for Georgia Gilmer, Queen of G, says yes to the Virginian. Do you do that over the Mincer's, over Mincer's, Queen of G?
I would probably do the corner restaurant over both of those, because Mincer's is a sign. Other than that, it's just a brick building. It doesn't.
The corner restaurant on Roosevelt Brown?
No, no, not the corner restaurant. I mean the restaurant on the corner right by the bridge.
Orbit?
Yeah,
Boylan Heights?
What used to be Orbit's, yeah.
Boylan Heights.
Yeah. Not because it's Boylan Heights, but just because if you're driving down the corner, that's pretty iconic with those big windows and constantly filled with college students.
I agree with you. It's more of a standout because it's a standalone building.
Yeah.
And it's on the right angle of two heavily trafficked roads.
Whereas Virginian, I mean, I know what it is, but I couldn't really tell you what it looks like.
Well, the reason you can is because it's an interior building on a strip, where Mincer's is the end cap on the strip. The Virginian's an interior on the strip. Judah makes a really good point. the old Mousetrap, Boylan Heights, Orbit. Is that the most iconic? You're on point today. Is the Boylan Heights building the most iconic building on the UVA corner? Based on Jamie Turner's definition of iconic, Jamie Turner repping the PEP, Mayor Gordonsville, iconic to me means when I think of Seville, I think of these buildings. Is it Boylan Heights over the Virginian? Is it Boylan Heights over Mincer's? Is it Boylan Heights over the Biltmore Grill? We need to put that list together. We'll crowdsource the list. What do you guys think? We got on this conversation because of Fitzgerald Tire.
Mm-hmm.
Fitzgerald Tire, if you think about it, from what Jamie Turner's definition, when you think of Seville, you think of this.
Especially with how many people have photographed and postcarded and whatnot that
Put it back on screen.
the
I love Seville a lot, Charlottesville a lot.
Yeah.
And the reason we know that is because every time that photo where people are next to Fitzgerald Tire, is it back on screen?
Yeah.
Look at the screen, look at the screen. Everyone look at the screen. Because when that gets on social media, the hashtag that accompanies it is hashtag I love Seville. So we get notified every time, almost every time someone puts that photo online on social media because they're utilizing the hashtag I love Seville with it. Dude, you could make a legitimate argument that Fitzgerald Tire is in the top 10 most iconic buildings in the city of Charlottesville.
yeah.
Certainly Belmont. I'd say Fitzgerald Tire is more iconic than any building on the UVA corner.
You know, Rick did that.
Who did?
You know Ruben Montoya.
Oh, yeah.
His brother did that.
He created that?
Yeah.
I love Ruben Montoya. The father of Gabriel Montoya.
Rick is.
Yeah, Rick did that.
Mm-hmm.
Seen him on the racquetball courts. He's the feisty one.
Really, Rick?
Oh, he's feisty. The
I know
Montoyas
I know.
don't like to lose.
I know he's feisty. I've just never seen him play racquetball.
He's feisty, especially when he's battling Ruben, his brother.
Oh man, I bet.
Ruben's got great hand-eye coordination. Crazy times, this market we call Charlottesville. Before I forget, let me get to these topics really quickly. Peyton Manning and Eli Manning's nephew, Arch Manning, visited the University of Virginia and its football team. Arch Manning is the #1 recruit in his class. Before everyone in Charlottesville and everyone in Wahoo Nation gets excited for the top-ranked quarterback in his class coming to Charlottesville, please realize that Peyton Manning's wife went to UVA. There are long-standing ties with the Manning family and the University of Virginia, and it's not football. Arch Manning is not going to play football at the University of Virginia. I would love if he was the quarterback of UVA, and I would love if the #1 ranked recruit in America signed and committed and verbaled to UVA and new coach Tony Elliott. That's not going to happen. However, from a positive recruiting news, William Monroe High School graduate Samantha Brunell, as predicted 10 days or so ago on this program, has announced she will transfer to UVA to continue her college basketball career. She signed initially as one of the most acclaimed and heralded recruit in America out of Greene County. She went to Notre Dame, where she made immediate impact as an all-ACC freshman performer for the Fighting Irish. Injuries have plagued her career in South Bend. She also saw the coach she signed initially for retire. Sam Brunell, her mom's Katie, signed to play for Muffet McGraw, who has since retired at Notre Dame. Check out Sam Brunell's Instagram page. Sam Brunell is a tremendous basketball player, a tremendous student, someone who's local from Greene County, someone with name recognition and has supermodel looks. Look at Sam Brunel's Instagram page. She has endorsement deals left and right. She's coming to Charlottesville. She has 2 years of eligibility left. Can you go to her Instagram page? Judah, I'm putting you on the fly here. Remember, we have the Virginia Public Radio interview here in 4 minutes we got to get ready for. It's Sam Brunel 33. SAMBRUNELLE 33. Sam Brunel 33. I mean, you're talking a phenomenal basketball player. Will be even better if she stays healthy. Fantastic student, a local, absolutely not, gorgeous. This is someone that, find one of the photos here, like the photo where she's holding the Triscuits, or the photo like one of these, all these photos are beautiful. You could build the entire program over the next 2 years from a marketing standpoint around Sam Brunel. And this buzz will get butts in the seats at the John Paul Jones Arena, watching a team and a program that has been a shadow of its former self and an afterthought since Debbie Ryan retired. Women's basketball, UVA was a hot ticket at one time. They were damn good. Debbie Ryan retires, the program falls by the wayside, now it's a shadow of its former self. Sam Brunel, the homegirl coming back to her hometown to play for the team she grew up watching, is a marketing, advertising campaign waiting to happen. You got any of those photos up? Judah's going to post a couple of photos of Sam Brunel. Gorgeous, talented, intelligent. You build the campaign to get butts in the seats around an all-ACC performer. Jaden Gardner is returning to UVA. The transfer from East Carolina University is coming back for another season. We're still waiting to hear from Kie Clark. Right now, with Jaden Gardner returning, Tony Bennett has 4 of his top 5 scorers returning. If Kie Clark returns, he will have 5 of his top 5 scorers returning. Scott Aaronworth, exactly right. Exactly right. He sends me a screenshot of Sam Brunel's Instagram and her doing a partnership with Wings Over South Bend. You got that photo on screen? Judah's got one on screen. Gorgeous, right? 6'3". Judah, you're 5'7". You got a chance. You got a chance. Build the campaign to get butts in the seats around Sam Brunel. Jaden Gardner returning to UVA. 4 of the top 5 scorers return for UVA basketball. If Kie Clark returns, that's 5 of the top 5 scorers returning for Tony Bennett's bunch. They have a phenomenal recruiting class coming in. Phenomenal recruiting class coming in. Jamie Turner says, let's go, Judah. You got this. Literally. All righty then, he says. Carol Thorpe, Arch Manning's visit was merely a make mom happy gesture. There is no way he comes to UVA. No way. Grandpa Archie calls the football shots in that family, and UVA is small potatoes and not even on his radar. I agree. It was an olive branch throwing a bone to the University of Virginia. I agree 100% with that. Queen of Jack Jewett. Carol Thorpe, 100%. All right, that's the show. We will put together the list and talk about it tomorrow for presentation for you tomorrow, the most iconic buildings in the city of Charlottesville. We have a really good start here. Then we'll publish them on iloveseville.com. I would encourage anyone watching this program to go to iloveseville.com right now, and get to know the Fitzgerald Tire building listing. $1.2 million will buy you a tire shop that is iconic. $1,113 price per square foot. For Judah Wickower, I'm Jerry Miller. This is the I Love CVille show where we keep it local, we keep it real, and we feature content that champions the community, and it comes from the heart every single damn day. Every day we put content together that matters to us, that we think will matter to you. We work our tails off doing this show. This man and I work our tails off on this show. For you, we enjoy it, but we do it to champion this community. Thank you for joining us.